The stretch that is Shaw Boulevard is home to dozens of food and beverage establishments, big and small. Representing one of the smaller ones is Don Taco Loco, and it's probably as low-key as it gets, sandwiched between a beauty salon with a pun in the name and a bar/grill. The way in is through these somewhat tricky steps, and this restaurant seats around 10 to 15 at a time. Now, right off the bat, it needs to be said that this is not a quiet place in any way. This main road is part of the jeepney route in the area, so expect the background noise to be horns honking and mga jeep na humaharurot. Medyo maingay lang pero kasi daanan talaga to ng mga cars. Mga decor nila. Add to that the karaoke next door, so just manage your expectations. And anyway, I have never been to Mexico, but I imagine that a street side eatery in their bigger cities would probably be just as lively. This wall serves as a semi-private partition because you can still kind of see the customers of the grill. Open from 2 p.m. to midnight, the menu mostly centers around the birria with a few popular Tex-Mex dishes thrown in for good measure. Though I wonder why burritos didn't make the cut. This is our meal for two. Of course, it mostly contains beef, but we selected the chicken option for the quesadilla para maiba naman. Each table is equipped with tissues, toothpicks, and plastic gloves, so you don't have to stress out about eating with your hands. Let's start with the nachos. And this is me struggling to pick the nacho of destiny, or that perfectly loaded piece. And because this is nachos con birria, the typical ground beef has been replaced by pulled or shredded beef, which also adds a different but nice texture to this appetizer. There's a generous drizzle of the cheese and white sauces, and we're calling this white sauce because this doesn't taste like sour cream, but more like a zesty blend of mayonnaise or all-purpose dressing and maybe some yogurt. So it's more of zesty than a milky kind of creamy flavor. There are also chopped onions and tomatoes in there, but we didn't really pick up that distinct taste of salsa. The zestiness is primarily coming from the white sauce, so our impression of the nachos is that it's more of a Filipinized version, and because we have 3 other dishes to try, this solo size is perfect for sharing for a table of 2. The quesadilla with chicken is a pleasant surprise as it contains cubed chicken instead of ground chicken, and the cuts are bite-sized and lean. The chicken is flavored with a Mexican-style seasoning or marinade, but it isn't heavily seasoned, hindi siya binudburan. So if you're not used to the aroma of Mexican spices and seasonings, consider this beginner-friendly. The dip for this is the same white sauce as what's on the nachos. Let's take a minute to talk about serving sizes. What you get in a solo-sized serving is more than merienda-sized if you're by yourself. It's a decent-sized meal for one, but in the case of the rice bowl, as you'll see later on, the amount is a full-sized meal for one, and you probably won't feel the need to order anything else unless you just want to snack on the other stuff. The Don Birria tacos, their star menu item is perfectly sized so hindi nakakaumay. It's a pan-fried soft taco, so of course it's gotten crispy in some parts but not entirely crunchy like an Ilocos empanada. I tried a few bites of the birria by itself before dipping into the accompanying broth, and the beef itself isn't heavily seasoned. It isn't salty at all. The quesadilla by comparison comes out saltier because of the cheese. This is more of a wholesome beef taste where the onions in here are the standout component. Now, when you dip into the broth, that's where all the saltiness comes from with just a little bit of heat. Because of that, I would treat the broth here as more of a dipping sauce than something you can dunk the birria in. In fact, I would warn you not to do that, and don't try straight up drinking the broth either. Just lightly dip and come back for more as needed. Think sushi and soy sauce. But that aside, the broth does have a concentrated beef stock flavor. The most filling dish of all, the Birria Loco rice bowl, also comes with a lime wedge and the same beef broth as with the birria tacos. The ratio of beef to rice is a little more modest here compared to when the birria is in taco form, but there is sufficient flavor to go around that parang hindi naman super bitin, especially when you start dipping into the broth. Again, don't pour the entire thing over the rice bowl. Wag sabawan yung kanin with this, please. Just dip as needed to prevent the dish from becoming too salty. When you dig into the bowl, you'll notice that the rice seems to be wet, but it isn't because the rice is mushy. It's actually from some sauce mixed into the rice before it's topped with the birria beef. The sauce is possibly the same as the white sauce mentioned earlier. This combination with the rice, though, instead of coming across as being zesty, actually brings out more of a creaminess to the rice. Please subscribe for more content like this.